Hi, this is Frank Carmody. Today we are going to explore some of the constraint options in Inventor. So we're going to go ahead and instead of creating our parts as part of the video, we're just going to open up a new assembly. I've created a couple of example parts that become very familiar to you if you've watched any of the previous lessons. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and place two rectangular solids just so we can have an example here. So I've created Mr. Carmody underscore example part underscore rectangular solid. Okay, so we're going to go open, and I'm going to have 1 and 2 rectangular solids here. Right click, done. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and constrain these. Okay, so this time we're going to be doing an angle constraint. And to do the angle, in general, what I'll try to do first is the angle constraint can make the pieces or the parts flip around a little bit, which can become fairly difficult to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and constrain them on an edge. So I'm going to click the first edge. This is a mate constraint. So I click the first edge, flip it around using the cube. Constrain the second edge. Click. Okay, now so what we have here is now the two rectangular solids are constrained on the here. So if we can take a look, see that this will only the second rectangular solid so far as it will act with that first edge. Okay, so let's go in side, and we're going to do a mate flush. So I go ahead, I wait till the red arrow faces out. I click on the first face, the second face, click OK. Notice there's a 0 offset. Okay, so now this can move, but notice that the edge stays constrained, the front edge stays constrained, and then the two faces are constrained to be flush. They're on the same plane. Okay, so let's take a look now at the constraint of an angle. Second type of constraint. Now there are 3 options here. We're only going to cover one for now, and that's a direct angle. Okay, so it might seem counterintuitive the way that I'm going to do this. So I'm actually going to set the angle between the two by selecting the upward facing face of one and the upward facing face of the second. Notice that it's a 0-degree angle currently. So let's go ahead and change that to a 45-degree angle. Or actually, let's change it to a 180-degree angle. That would be a straight angle. Okay, you'll notice that that is a straight angle. So there's now a 180-degree difference between those two angles. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's go ahead and open up on our browser bar. Let's go ahead and open up the example part, rectangular solid 2. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and open up the angle, and notice that the edit dimension opens up here very nicely. Let's go ahead and change that to 90 degrees to just take a look at the difference. Okay, so we can see the difference there, and then let's take it back to let's take it back to a 45-degree angle. We can also edit the constraint here. Let's take it back to a 45-degree angle. Okay, so that's the basic way that we constrain an angle there. You'll notice that now I can't move this at all. It's fully constrained. Okay, let's say, for example, though, what if I didn't do it like that? Let's delete it, and let's go back to a constraint, and let's see what happens if I made the mistake of trying to constrain the two faces that are identical here, or the facing constraints, or the faces that face each other. The top facing face of the first rectangular solid and the bottom facing face of the other. So at 0 degrees, it actually looks like a straight angle, so they're matching. Okay, so at 45 degrees, so at 180 degrees, they'd be back around touching each other. Okay, at 135 degrees, we'd have something like this. Whoops, 135 degrees, we'd have something like this. Okay, so you can see that the more intuitive way to do this is to do what I showed you the first time, and to do angle using faces that are going to face the same direction. Okay, so let's do this again, and we're going to go ahead and place it back at a 45-degree angle. Whoops. I'm going to undo that for the moment. Oops. And it actually turned out to be exactly correct there. Okay, so so go ahead and give it a shot. What you're doing is you're creating, if you don't have these example parts already, please create just an example rectangular solid that you can work with for the next couple of, while we're trying to practice these assemblies. Your assignment is to just do exactly what I've done here, to use two rectangular solids to mate the edges, flush the faces, and then create an angle constraint. Good luck.